Hello and welcome to the We Pay For Your Floor podcast. My name's Phil,
I'm Andy.
And I'm Sarah.
and today we'll be talking about a bucket of queef.
Right.
But there's a hole in that bucket.
Several.
Oh, but before that,
Sarah, have you ever queefed?
Into a bucket?
No,
No.
not necessarily into a bucket, just,
Every female on this planet has queefed in some capacity. I don't believe them if they've said they've never
So,
queefed.
question,
Something
genuine
to think
question.
about,
I know
yeah.
it's a silly topic.
Is this something I want on the internet?
what about the Queen's queef?
I wouldn't know. I haven't spoken to her queef recently.
So, is it? I mean,
A royal raspberry from down below.
it shouldn't be something too exposing. Does it only happen during sex, or can it happen any time?
Oh, it can happen anytime if you're basically sat on it.
That sounds like
Okay.
a PSA. Queefs can happen at any
Because, like,
time.
isn't it when air gets trapped and
Yeah,
then it gets released?
yeah. When you're sat on your arse and the only way out is up.
The only way is
It's
up.
Queef. Yeah. No, it doesn't happen. I have never farted during sex. I know that much.
Oh well,
As far as
you've
I'm
done something
aware.
I haven't. Wait, you've done something that you haven't done something I have. You know what I mean.
Just drinks.
Neighbour.
Just
Yeah, but so the difference is when we fuck, it's in the ass.
In the
eye. No, it can happen to any female. Basically, if that area is blocked, it just goes through another avenue. That's what happens.
Okay, fair.
No, I
Next
did
question
have.
about my vagina.
Sarah,
How's your floor?
Times the length by the width.
You did a
Insightful.
maths equation.
Insightful.
I'm proud of you.
Thank you. I did Google it before, but there we go. I still learned it.
Thank
How
you.
do I calculate the volume of my floor?
Is it the volume? Or is it the area?
Actually, it'd be the area.
It will be the area.
Volume if it's
Drops the mic.
3D, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if I ever mentioned this to you, Sarah. I think I may have mentioned it to you, Andy. Forgot your name for a
Think
moment
about his
there.
name.
The other
You,
one.
Him.
That one.
Cunt.
Aye.
Love you too, dear.
Fuck off.
No.
But back in primary school,
Mm.
I have a feeling I may have mentioned this before, but back in primary school, one of our teachers, because this was around the time Eminem was getting big, taught us in maths how to measure perimeter
Right.
by using the Eminem song and just
Which Eminem song?
well, replacing one word with perimeter means go round the outside, round the
Oh my
outside.
God.
Yeah. But it's stuck. It's stuck with us
Yeah.
all through
Clearly worked.
all through primary school and even now. I think of perimeter and I just think of Eminem.
Around the outside.
Round the
Seriously,
outside.
music is a great way to remember things. I remember
Yeah.
on my GCSE chemistry exam that we knew there was going to be a question about detergents or the chemical ingredients of washing detergents. 'Cause it was
Yeah.
a big section that we covered, and the teacher was like, in the vaguest of terms, saying, this will appear in some capacity.
Yeah.
You need to know this. So to remember it, one of my friends and I say one of my I kind of made it, and like she was in on it, so it kind of became our thing. But we made a detergent song
Remember you telling me
that
this,
was
yeah.
it just lists through the different things, and to this day, for the most part, I still remember it.
It's such a good way to learn, though, isn't it? Well, think of the ABCs.
The what?
The ABC.
The abacus.
Yeah, it's Twinkle Twinkle.
The abacus.
It's Twinkle
I
Twinkle
haven't
Little
used an
Star,
abacus
isn't
in
it?
Yeah.
ages.
Twinkle Twinkle Little Star.
I love abacus. I used to love sliding the beads along.
Holy shit! It is Twinkle Twinkle
I
Little Star.
just-
I just realised that.
It's
Yeah.
Twinkle Twinkle Little Star with a bit of a rushed bit in the middle.
You know what though? Speaking of formulas,
Yeah.
me and Lizzie we will get onto the thing. I promise you.
The
Ooh.
subject
So
meter.
you know how I'm joining a new D&D
Yes.
group, and I've made my character, who I'm very excited to play.
Yeah.
So I now know what Lizzie feels like.
Yeah.
Because I'm waiting for the day we get to start, and I'm like, oh my god, it needs to happen. I need to play. I can't wait. We realise that the formula for making a D&D character
Yeah.
is take yourself, make yourself sexier, but then to make it role playable, add emotional baggage.
Yes.
And my
Yes.
god, if that is not the fucking truth.
I thought that was just alright.
Yeah, technically
Minus
it
the
is.
sexy.
You're sexy.
Ah.
He needs his eyes testing again.
Inserting lights.
In the eye.
In the eye.
In the eye.
Anyway, Phil, sorry, go on.
So yeah, this is something that just came up. You two are probably gonna have a go at me for this, but I want your opinion
Okay.
because I just received a message
Oh, okay. From
s-
beyond.
I wish, I wish. Don't give me hope. We're coming for you.
We're coming for him.
Oh, freedom. Either way, I'm free.
Okay. What is it? Death is not a punishment, it's a gift. Isn't
Yeah.
it?
Whoever receives it,
It's
it's
from
a fucking
Dragonheart.
gift.
Just for the nerds. Carry on,
Again,
sorry, I
again,
interrupted. Sorry.
again, marvelous.
Yeah.
You received a message.
I received a message from someone that I haven't spoken to in fucking years.
Okay, yeah.
Say
Haven't-
years again?
Yes.
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 That's how he says it, isn't it?
No, it says years.
No, it says years.
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 Yeah, years. Yeah.
Instead of years.
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 It's almost posh.
Years.
I've had to change how I speak, otherwise you fucking daft twats down here didn't understand a word I'm bloody saying.
Fucking weird!
Weird.
Antibiotics, man!
If I were to talk how I normally talk when I'm up with my parents, you wouldn't understand a fucking word I'm saying.
I understand you.
You can dance too.
Going down too.
Don't patronise me.
Yeah, you'd never go out.
Um,
So you got a message from beyond the grave.
yeah, Auntie
What's
Pam,
it
she
from
messaged me.
Auntie Pam?
She messaged me on Facebook.
Did she message you on Facebook?
Don't know how she found me.
Vanessa the in-joke vagina pops up.
Sorry, carry on.
With your Auntie Pam? I don't think I will.
In-joke vagina. What the fuck is wrong with us?
You're only just asking this question.
We're 22 episodes in now, Sarah. I think we're past that point.
Yes.
So, I haven't read the message.
Yeah.
I've just had it come through as a notification, so I've seen it. And it's
Yeah.
like, hey Phil, how are you? It's been a while. How you doing? I don't want to respond.
Right.
I just want to leave this person unread for the rest of time. And
Right.
they're an okay person. I'm not going to say who it is.
Okay.
Can I see?
No.
Do I know them?
No, you don't know them, so
Oh,
it doesn't
okay.
really matter. But am I a dick?
Oh, interesting.
Am I the
question.
asshole? Basically, is what I'm asking.
Interesting.
AMA.
We're doing an R slash.
Depends if you're bottoming or topping.
We're doing an
Most
R
of the time
slash
you're the
moment.
arsehole.
Yeah.
Are you the arsehole?
Yeah, am I the asshole for receiving a
Interesting.
well-meaning message from a mild acquaintance who I really just can't be
Nah,
asked
I'm in two
to
minds.
give the time of day
Half,
to?
my people pleasing half of my brain would go, oh, 100%, oh my god, you've got to reply, because that would be so rude. What if they don't like you anymore, despite the fact you don't like them?
But
And
if
then
they
the
do
other
like
part-
me and they're asking how they've messaged me out of the blue and asking how I am, it
Is
assumes
this
that
someone
they
who
maybe
has
do
no
like
idea
me.
that
Yeah.
we're a thing?
Oh no, he knows that you exist.
Okay.
It's very odd. I don't know, is my answer to that question.
I'm kind of
Good,
the
sir?
same boat as you. On one hand, I would be like, yes, of course you should respond because if you don't, you're rude. However, on the other hand, I'm also very well aware that my therapist, my old therapist, who was great, I hope she's doing well,
She's dead now.
she would have said, or in regards to like, sort of appeasing that people-pleasing part of your brain, going, it's your life, do what you want. If you do not want to message that person, if you don't want to message them, if you don't want to associate with them anymore,
Yeah.
that is completely your prerogative and they cannot argue otherwise.
Yeah.
And you know what? As much as part of me wants to go, you should probably message them to, since they've had the courtesy of reaching out to you, the other part of me is going, but if you don't want to, no one can force you and that is your decision to make.
Yeah.
Okay.
I say don't. I say you're not in the arsehole if you don't want to.
And he's blocked.
Yay!
Have you actually just blocked him? I was going to say. That's a bit too far, Phil. You can leave someone unread, but don't block them
Ah,
out of
they're a prick.
spite.
I think in
You
different
dare
scenarios.
try to engage me in conversation? I'm gonna block you.
Tell
How
you what,
dare you?
This is a very quick diversion. What are the ethics of blocking someone on social media?
Do
If
it
they're
without a
abusive,
single hint of
For
hesitation.
me, if they're harassing me or abusive, then I block.
I think I told you about the last person I blocked.
Or if they're a scammer.
Was it
yes,
Gwyneth
you did.
Paltrow?
Yeah.
No. So
Hello.
it was a guy that I started talking to before I even knew you.
Wow.
This is like what?
We're
maybe-
going back to the land before Phil
This is
again.
around
Goodness me.
2013. This is around 2013.
Wasteland.
So I would have been 17. I was chatting to this guy, who, in all fairness, I believe he was around my age. I don't think he was much older. I think he was like 18, maybe.
Oh, okay.
But there was like we never met in person. It was just like an online thing for a bit. And obviously it didn't go anywhere.
Yeah.
Obviously I met Phil. All that blah blah blah
You
blah.
hussy.
And like we were still in contact as friends for quite a few years. And like we met up in person once in Nottingham just to hang out because at this point I was like, you know, I have a boyfriend.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not really looking for that kind of thing. But like I was happy to hang out as friends. And it was fine, but like in person I was like, but you know what? We maybe don't have as much in common as I think we do, which is okay. It's not a bad thing. And then like after that, like every now and then I'd get a message asking how I'm doing. But over the course of the years that I haven't spoken to him, he's become a very spiritual person.
Oh no.
He believes in the chakras.
No.
And balancing the chakras and the chi.
No.
And he's recently married someone from abroad. He was living in like Thailand for a bit because
Oh, that's nice.
I think he met his now husband then, and they came back over here. Anyway, he reached out to me back in it was either May or April. I can't remember.
Was it via his third eye?
Psychic message.
Yeah.
I think it would have been in April because I know he was saying about wanting to meet up in May. It was
April
either
is a
March or
perfect
April.
time for astral projection.
It was either
Yes.
March or April because I know he was on about, we can maybe meet up in May when the restrictions are loosened. And obviously for the listeners who aren't aware, me and Phil aren't exactly in a monogamous relationship.
I wonder what you were gonna say then. I thought you got me and Phil aren't exactly anal, and I don't know why my brain went there.
No, we're very anal.
Go on. Yes.
Obviously you've been well aware of this for a long
Oh,
time. We're
yeah,
not
yeah.
exactly a monogamous couple.
Monogamy.
But, I mean that's more on my end than your end. But that's just because you don't like people.
Penis!
Penis, Sarah! That's just because you don't like people. But anyway, and like, the reason he reached out to me is because he wanted to thank me for helping him somehow realise that he wasn't monogamous, which I'm like, okay, fair enough, but I don't know if I had much to do with that. Because I think the last time we'd spoken was like, not long after a certain X, beginning with a D.
Douchebag.
Yeah. I say that, I'm still mildly friends with him, so.
Mild douchebag. Douchette.
I know who you're
You
talking
know what
about.
yeah.
I'm
It
waiting
was
for you
not-
to
it was
continue
not
the
long
story.
after-
I've got nothing to say
It
that would
was not long after
be something
after
without
that all happened.
without
I
just sort of confirming
so
his name.
when he asked how I was, like, sort of explained stuff and blah blah blah. Explained that the status of our relationship.
My leaky anus.
Yeah, your leaky anus. So then when he messaged me this year, just out of the blue after like God knows how many years, are you okay?
His anus leaked.
Oh, it's a bit right. Oh, I do apologise, and the windows are closed. Oh.
It was the laugh and then fart laugh. Just trying
Can
to
you smell toffee popcorn? But slightly off toffee popcorn. What was in that stir fry you made yesterday?
Anyway, so he reached out, thanks me for helping him realise that, and then he started talking. He was saying like he'd like to meet up and maybe do stuff, and I was like, one, I wasn't really that interested because it had been years at this point, and I'm like,
Yeah.
But and then he started talking about obviously when the virus that should not be named has sort of died down a bit
Yeah.
and restrictions have eased because this was back when we were still in a fairly strict lockdown, and I was. I don't know how to word it, but basically in the most vague terms I could, feigned interest. I was basically like,
I really thought you were going to say you feigned diarrhea, which is an old Craig Ferguson thing from
You know
the
what?
Late Late
You
Show.
know what? You know the sort of situations where you act interested,
Polite.
but also make sure that you don't give any indication of any particular time when you're free.
Yeah, yeah.
It was that kind of thing.
Yeah, people
So they kept talking, and obviously because of the year that we've had,
Yeah.
the conversation naturally kind of slipped into discussing the virus that shall not be named.
It slipped into who now?
The virus that shall not be named.
The conversation turned to the virus that shall not be named because obviously we were sort of asking how each other had been doing during that time. And this is when I found out that he has become a bit of an anti-vaxxer.
No.
Oh, no.
It's always the way. Fucking crystals will heal them.
No, he's literally that person. But no, he literally claimed that the first jab, because I think he works in some form of medical profession, I can't remember what. He claimed that the first
Isn't
jab.
that a conflict of interests?
Probably.
He claimed that the first jab made him ill to nearly to the point of death for 6 months, to the point where he contemplated going to Switzerland so he could use Dignitas. And I'm like,
it's a little dramatic.
Wouldn't have been a loss.
Has the vaccine been out 6 months?
No, this was last year apparently.
But there wasn't a vaccine last year.
No, there wasn't a vaccine until.
Right.
Yeah.
I know, right? That's why I'm like, okay, dude, sure.
Okay.
So he claims that he won't be having the second one, and apparently he's talked his, I think he said he talked his husband out of having it. But then he also said, because we were discussing it, and I kind of, at this point, I was like, I've got an out.
Yeah.
So I was like, I mean, I'm going to be honest, I don't really feel that comfortable with the idea of, like, seeing you if you've not got any form of, like, you know, virus that should not be named protection. I mean, I didn't want to fucking see him anyway, but you know, the point is I had an escape route here, so I took it. And he was like, oh, it's really not that bad. I'm like, dude, people have died. But no, this is the bit that made me block him. He turned round and said, oh, well, you say that, but my best friend died in a motorcycle accident last year, and because I work in whatever profession he works in, apparently he saw the death certificate and they put the reason for death as virus that should not be named, when apparently he died in a motorcycle accident. And I went, right, okay, that's bollocks, and blocked him because I was like, I'm not even going there.
Just don't cause drama. If it's not worth the drama, Phil, don't fucking do it.
Don't get me wrong, I love the fucking drama, but at the same time, I love the drama when it doesn't involve me. When it does involve me, I'm like, you know what?
That's enough.
That's enough.
I'm too old for this, girl.
No likey, no licey.
That's it. I think if you're contemplating just not replying, then the person isn't worth it. Just don't reply. Don't feel bad.
Anyway, that was a massive diversion. I'm so sorry, Phil.
The thing is, aside from you two,
who do you talk to?
and Andy and Sarah, I'm in constant communication with Bono Vox.
Of the U2.
Oh, to the U2, yeah. But aside from you, I don't really speak to anyone.
I know.
Maybe send a couple of messages to Chris, like silly pictures and stuff.
You sometimes chat to Olivia a little bit.
Yeah,
mainly you sending memes to each other though.
and
that's the only form of acceptable.
And sometimes a couple of people pick up a penguin.
Pick up a penguin.
A couple of people on like Twitter or things, but.
And you'll talk to your mother when she calls you.
No. I will answer the phone and I will let her talk and I will feign interest for about 30 minutes. And I'll look at my phone and go, time to start thinking of an excuse.
You know what you do? I'm going to tell you a trick. You know what you do?
I usually tell her that I'm in the middle of making food.
Call saying that your battery's low.
No.
Yeah, because you start a phone call saying that your battery's low, and you go half an hour, and you go, oh, sorry, my phone's nearly dead. I'll have to go. See you later. Bye.
I usually use
if I
the food excuse.
Saying my battery's
See,
low, I'm being genuine.
Luckily, it usually happens when I'm cooking dinner, so we can be like, oh, dinner's ready.
Particularly because she knows that I don't finish work until about 6 o'clock, and then if we are talking in the evening during a weekday, I won't have had food yet.
Yeah.
So if
no one wants a hungry Phil.
I want my food.
Yeah.
I like food. Food is good.
Reason for living.
Yeah, apparently. The other good one is if she does end up on a tirade and just keeps going on and on and on. If you go over a minute, fuck, I wish. If you go over an hour on a standard phone call,
Yeah.
it's not too sure how it works with
It
landlines,
charges you, doesn't
but
it?
it'll charge you. So
Oh.
every minute up to and including the first 60 minutes
Yeah.
on any standard mobile plan in the UK is part of your unlimited minutes that you get. It's all free.
Yeah.
You go on to minute 61, every minute from then and onwards is chargeable
On
Shit.
that call.
on
Yeah,
that call.
Yeah.
So if you
Wow.
hit minute 60, hang up, and if you really need to, call the person back,
Yeah.
or that is your last ditch resort of getting out of this. We're about to come up to an hour, mother. I need to go, otherwise this is going to cost me.
Yeah. Good point. Oh, shit. Phil's
Your
financial
topic.
points.
I'm so
Yeah, sorry,
sorry.
Your
Phil.
topic?
Your topic.
What was,
I thought
what
that
was
was
You had a topic.
I thought that was
Oh,
a
no, it was my topic,
Yeah,
wasn't
it's
it?
your
Sorry,
topic,
I
yeah.
thought
then
that was
my
a
game,
chocolate
then.
bar.
I forgot, yeah, and then your game,
Thank you.
then your game, yeah. Sorry, I'm so scatterbrained. Anyway, I wanted to talk about. I have a couple of things that I can suggest, but it all completely depends on whether you actually have something to contribute, and if not, we can just cut this bit out. So we can now talk about one thing I had was foreign language mishaps.
Oh, okay.
If you have any stories of those.
Not particularly.
I have a mildly interesting one involving my brother.
Or this is one. I mean, we all might have a story for this, but it depends if it's funny or not. Is how did your parents find out that you were sexually active?
No, I don't want to talk about that.
Okay.
There's already enough trauma.
I'll delete
Can we do
that
the
one.
foreign language one?
Yeah, sure. Do you have any particular stories that you can bring
Well,
to that?
Why don't you introduce it since it's your topic?
Okay. Do you have anything you can do for that?
Yeah, I think I
Okay.
can. Yeah.
Sure. Right. Okay. So the topic I wanted to bring, apart from apparently the ethics of blocking someone,
Yeah.
are because I have a few funny stories, most of them from the same trip, but I thought they'd be fun to tell.
How long were the stairs?
So, stories about foreign language mishaps.
Okay.
So times where either you're in a foreign country trying to speak the language,
Yeah.
or maybe you encountered someone who, over here who spoke a foreign language, and you tried to communicate with them in their language because maybe you know some, that sort of
Yeah.
thing. Any stories?
I'll start because this isn't me. This is my brother,
Okay.
who is exactly 7 years younger than me, or 7 years in a day, to be pedantic. But we were going to Spain for the first time as a family, so I would have been about 9 or 10.
Where were you going?
Okay.
Where were you going?
We're not doing this, Andy.
Yes, we are.
What?
Where were you
Even if we
going?
do, I'll cut it out.
Where were you going?
We're going to Spain.
Espen.
Spain.
Espen.
Yes.
Espen.
Spain.
And cue Vanessa in joke vagina.
Does she have a name badge?
Vagina.
If both of you want,
She should have a little.
we
Little
should.
name badge,
Blob.
styled hair that's actually her
Ooh.
pubes.
Can you run a thing on Instagram? Don't say we'll pay them in exposure, because with the topic that we're mentioning here, this will be very bad. But could we try and either we ourselves just all design one, and
Yeah.
then we can, or get somebody else to, if they want, submit a fan drawing of Vanessa the vagina.
Vanessa the in-joke vagina.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We could just have a pop up in the corner
Yeah.
anytime a vagina
Yeah.
is mentioned,
or
or any in joke.
Yeah. Yeah.
I suppose.
Yeah.
Not necessarily just
Do
your
that.
vagina. We need a separate one for your vagina. This is Vanessa the in-joke vagina,
Yes.
and this is Sarah's vagina.
If it's Sarah's, it pops up with the name tag Sarah and it's just downing wine.
Are you referring to my vagina?
Yes.
As a
Oh,
vagina.
Anyway,
Finally.
foreign language.
So yeah, we were going to Spain. To
You were
It's
going
been
to
gasping
what?
for the attention for ages.
Espen. You were in Espen. There's Vanessa the vagina. Vanessa in Spain. I'd watch that.
Vanessa in Spain. Vanessa in Spain.
That's Rosie and Gin, isn't it?
Winnie the Pooh.
Oh, it is.
Winnie the Pooh. Gonna skull fuck your dog.
Anyway.
Yes.
Spain.
Espen.
This was early 2000s, I think. So I was probably 9 or 10. My brother would have been very young. Um, I know he was still in a buggy, I think, at the time.
Aww.
But we were going to Salou,
Okay.
which is on the Mediterranean coast.
Right.
Lovely place. Um, and my brother had learned, maybe he was a little bit older, it doesn't really matter, but he'd learned a few phrases of Spanish,
Okay.
which is always nice,
Yes.
but a child doesn't necessarily have the same comprehension
No.
as an older person, even an older child.
Yeah.
And he was still a fucking infant at this time.
Right.
So he really latched.
So sorry.
Funny enough, that kind of ties in.
I saw the draft go through your hair then, Phil.
Oh,
It's like
I felt it.
I'm so sorry.
Talk about making me hair stand on end. Bloody hell. But he really latched onto the word gracias.
Right, okay.
Now,
Right. You're innocent enough. Means
yeah,
thank you.
means thank
yeah.
you. It's lovely.
Yeah.
Lovely for a young child to
Exactly.
you know,
Polite, lovely.
expect. Yeah, it's like going around saying gracias to a lot of people
Yeah.
until we realised what he was actually saying was gracias. And then
Yeah.
on the coach from the airport to our hotel,
Yeah.
he was turning around to all these other people.
Aww.
These were all British tourists.
Yeah.
But turning around to all these other people and going, gracias, gracias. Have you got a gracias?
Oh my god. Oh.
Have you? Have you got a gracias?
That sounds like a brother of yours, actually.
I've never been so proud of him.
Oh, see, I have a funny little brother story as well. 7 years between me and my brother.
He's queer.
Yeah, well, yes, that one. Yes, that brother. So when he was younger, he when it was like the kids' job to set the table. Okay, so he had
Child labour.
heard this word and thought it meant sauces that you put on the table.
Okay.
So he goes to the cupboard and he goes, "Oh, Mum, I'll put the condoms on the table." Obviously, me and Mum went, Never told him. Never corrected him. Never corrected him. And I swear to God, it was the funniest thing. I think Mum, it was the first time me and Mum had actually laughed our fucking heads off, and then collectively, without even saying to each other, went, "Oh, thank you for putting the condoms on the table. Thank you very much for that." He meant condiments, but he was like, "Put the condoms on the table." Thank you. Bless his little
And
goddamn
ever since then, your
socks.
family dining table has had a bowl of Durex. It's ready to go.
We still call him condoms to this day, and we still take the piss out of him. Bless.
Oh,
Oh,
No,
he's
it's
a
so
good
funny,
boy.
bless him. He's
He
so
should
cute
be.
because he was only tiny at the time.
I think this isn't a foreign language one, but off the back of that, I have a couple where the two that I remember like saying things as a kid that I didn't know what they meant were I can't remember what order they happened in, so I'll just tell them in whatever. One of them was I was in the car with my mum and a dickhead driver pulled out on her and she had to slam her brake on. And she like blasted her on, and then I, from the back of the car, little baby me, little very young child me, went, "Mom, is that what Dad would call a twat?" And then another
Out
one,
the mouth
and
of
I
babes.
remember this. I don't remember that one. I remember this one.
Yeah.
I was getting ready for school. This would have been like year one maybe. It was primary school.
Yeah.
Maybe reception year one, year two, whatever. Getting ready for school, trying to put a sock on, sat in my sister's room.
Yeah.
Because we were like getting ready together, I think, and I couldn't get this sock to go on my foot. And I think at the time I thought someone had made this word. I made this word
Yes.
up, but I think I must have heard someone say it and like copied it, not
Yeah.
realising. But I went, "Oh, get on my foot, you bitch!" When I was a little kid trying to get this sock on my foot, my mum was like, "What did you just say?" And I was
The
like,
sock was being a bitch.
I didn't know what it meant. Yeah, they're not foreign language ones. I will get onto my foreign language ones. But did you have any foreign language ones?
There's a few. As you can imagine, I've got quite a multi-linguistic family. My mum can speak
Hey, your mum can speak like a fuck ton of languages,
She can
can't
speak
she?
German, French, some Spanish, and some Cypriot/Greek. My brother can speak some German, some French, some Spanish, and my dad's obviously fluent in German, and I can barely speak English.
But you're learning Japanese.
But I'm learning Japanese, very, very slowly. So, as you know, the way that I remember things is just non-existent, or it's very obscure the way that I can remember something. Either it's got to be to a song, or I've got to associate for something. So the way I remember I don't understand in German is that it sounds like fish stain, nicht Fischstein.
Okay.
Fish stain, that's the only way I remember it. Same with glove, it's a handshoe, it's Handschuhe.
Yeah.
There you go. Do you know what rainbow is, and do you know how I remember it?
Go on.
It's the way that I say it. Regenbogen! That's rainbow.
Regenbogen?
Regenbogen! That's rainbow
That's
in German.
fun.
And
That
the
sounds
only way
Norse.
You can,
Regenbogen.
Regenbogen, and that's the only
It
way
sounds
I can
like
remember it.
Mjolnir.
Do you know, I think it's either
Regenbogen.
butterfly or aeroplane, which is fluchtig.
That's marvelous.
It's
Love it.
scary.
Fluchtig.
But that's the only way I can remember. But when I was very, very young, my granddad can speak fluentish French. He's a bit rusty, but he can speak fluentish French, and this is on my mum's side. Before going
I was
abroad,
gonna say, because from what I was gonna be like, I thought your grandma was
no,
dead.
on my mum's side,
Yeah.
he's very fluent in French.
The one of your nan is still not over.
No, yes.
But if he's not by your mum's side, he's shit. That was terrible.
I don't understand the joke, Phil.
He said on your mum's side. So it doesn't matter.
He can speak rusty French, Sarah.
No, rusty French. So he can speak rusty French. So my granddad, bless him, is a product of his generation.
That's an interesting
okay?
name.
What?
Just go on, go on.
Okay,
Ignore
I'm
him.
so
He's been a
confused.
pillock. Ignore him.
Okay, so my granddad is a product of his generation. Do you know Pam messaged me on Facebook?
Continue. I'm
Pam
sorry.
of Tickbalang.
Oh no.
So, granddad can speak French. There is a French, you know the French national anthem? Da, da, da,
Yeah.
da, 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 da. Now, before I knew the actual French national anthem, I knew this song that he taught me, which is to the tune of the French national anthem, but it's called When a Frenchman Went to the Lavatory. Okay? Now, apparently, he taught, when I was young, I don't remember this, apparently he taught it me in French. Me thinking it was the French national anthem.
Brilliant.
Now, the lyrics are, I can't remember all of them. When a Frenchman went to the lavatory to have a very good poo. When he got, something about when he got there was no loo paper, so he used like the newspaper, or he used a trouser leg, and then there's like a pun at the end to do with shitty French people or something. Now, apparently when we went to France on holiday, I was singing that version of the French national anthem just walking down the street.
Wonderful.
When a Frenchman went to the lavatory to have a very good poo. My granddad's going. My mum's going, we're going to be arrested. Stop singing it. But obviously, the French national anthem, kind of catchy.
Just a bit.
So you're going, to have a very good poo. You can't help but not sing it. So that is, I can't remember all the lyrics now, but I know whenever I bring it up with Grandad, he then sings it and I remember it. But it's probably one of the best memories I have of my Grandad, to be fair, in teaching me stuff that you should not sing in France.
That's kind of an interesting topic, Andy. As
That's
well, it's like
great.
family members teaching you things that your parents hate that they did. So
That.
I have two that my auntie did. I love my auntie so much.
Yeah.
She's like pretty much the only auntie and uncle that we actually give a shit about.
Oh, damn.
It's my mum's sister. Love her to pieces.
Yeah.
She is one of the best women I know. She's marvellous. Tiny woman. Tiny
They
little
always
woman,
are the best women.
Tiny little woman. And when we were kids, she taught us two things. The first one was that and we still do this if we're with her, just to like remind her, we still remember this.
Yeah.
When you're crossing the road, she'd hold us hands, and you like, obviously you press the button,
Yeah.
and then you wait for it to go green,
Yeah.
and then it would beep to signal that you can cross.
Yeah.
And we'd beep along with it, because she
Aww.
taught us to. So
Aww.
even if there wasn't a beeping noise with the traffic light, whenever me and my sister crossed the road with my auntie, we'd go beep 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 as we cross, and they're like, the fuck out of my parents. And then our favourite one that they hated but we loved was like, if someone had a go, it was mainly if someone had a go at us.
Yeah.
We'd do it to each other, but I think my parents hated it most when we did it to them. It'd be like, if they had a go at us or something, if we hadn't done something that they wanted us to do, and they hated that my auntie taught us how to do this, we'd go, ooh, look at her! And we'd just, it's just a
Love
thing.
it.
It's just a thing that we did.
No, I
And
love
we
it.
still do it now, but like with her as like a joke.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was a thing. It's not
Oh,
a foreign
I like
language one, but I do
that.
like that.
That's a good memory.
Do you have any other foreign ones before I go on to the ones that I have?
No, not that I can think of.
So the main ones that I can remember all happened on the same trip that me and my the rest of the people on my French A-level course, I say that there was only like 3 of us, when we went to Brittany to my teacher's summer home, because she owned a house in Brittany that she rented out as a holiday home during the holidays.
Yeah.
And she took us there. I think it was during the spring. It might have been around April time. We went through to this house. Beautiful country house, pretty much in the middle of nowhere. There were a few other houses around, but not many. The nearest town was like a few minutes drive away. It was beautiful countryside, just surrounded by fields and farmland and shit.
Yeah.
And the 2 main ones that I can remember from this are, well, sorry, 3. First one that I'll talk about because it's probably the least funny. It's still a little bit funny. We were at one of her neighbours' houses. We went to both of her neighbours. We went to their houses, but this is the one that I have the least memory of because it was the least funny.
Yeah.
We're at her house and she's teaching us how to make crepes.
Yeah.
But she's doing all of the instructions in French because
Right.
obviously the whole idea is that
To learn it.
to learn it, immerse yourself.
Yeah.
Immersion. So she's doing it all in French.
Yeah.
And I'm stood there trying to make these crepes. Now I knew how to make pancakes, so I basically knew what I was doing.
Yeah.
Because I cook.
Yeah.
But obviously I was meant to be listening to what she was saying and working out exactly what it is she wanted me to do.
Yeah.
Otherwise I'd just be doing it my way. And I was clearly a bit confused as to what I was meant to do. And my teacher went, Andrew, do you know what you're doing? Like, do you understand what instructions she just gave you? And I, in the most Yorkshire voice possible, went, I sorta know what she said, just to her face. Which apparently was really funny because Lizzie and another friend of ours who was there just pissed themselves laughing.
Proper Yorkshire.
Yeah. And then the other one that happened with me was at the other neighbour's house, where, and I think I've told you this one before, beautiful country cottage. We had dinner at theirs. I think we spent a couple of nights with them because they came down to my teacher's house for one of the evenings. We had like a barbecue, I think.
Yeah.
So we're at their house. They're giving us like traditional Breton food, like cheeses, all this kind
Very
of,
nice.
honestly, really, really nice food. And as part of the evening, they were going to teach us traditional Breton dancing because the daughter, whose name escapes me right now, it'll come to me later, I imagine. I'll ask Lizzie, she'll know because she remembers fucking everything.
She'll know.
Lizzie will know. But she had, I don't know if it was her job, but as like a hobby, she did traditional Breton dancing in like a group, in like a troupe.
Yeah.
So she was teaching us some, and her partner, her boyfriend, I think he was a musician, and I think he like played the music for us while we did it. So we're learning this Breton dancing, and it's actually really fun. We're having a really good time. But what you've got to realise is it's the middle of spring, it's getting warmer,
Yeah.
and we're in a great big country cottage with stone walls and everything,
Okay.
with a great big stone fireplace right next to where
Very
we're dancing.
French. Yeah.
It's very fucking hot.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we'd just finished this dance, wanted to express the fact that I was a little bit overheated.
Right. Yeah.
So, I said what I thought was the way that you would. It
Yeah.
literally translates to I am very warm or I
Yeah.
am very hot. Which
Yeah.
what I said, je suis très chaude, because that
Okay.
is literally
Charred,
I am
hot.
very hot.
Yeah.
No, because the French language is a beautiful language
Yeah.
of many twists and turns.
Yes.
What you're meant to say, if you are warm or even if you're cold,
Yeah.
well, obviously you don't say this exactly if you're cold, but it's the same principle for
Yeah.
the structure. You say j'ai très chaud, which is
Oh.
I have much heat,
Yeah. Okay.
which is how you say
Should you
I
say
am very
I
warm.
like or I love heat or something?
Je suis très chaude
Okay.
means I am very horny.
Horny. Okay.
And I said this to this lovely elderly
Oh
couple,
my, oh my.
their daughter and her boyfriend, in their lovely country home, with my teacher stood like across the room, who like sniggered to herself and then put her head in her hands in despair that I have just told this lovely Breton family that I apparently had a hard on.
For the daughter's boyfriend, probably.
Oh, ha ha ha.
He's a musician.
It's not my favourite of the stories,
French
though.
is like one of those that, like, in the speech bubble, it looks round, but as soon as you microscopically zone in on it, there's a little bump, and if there's that little bump in it, the French just don't know what the fuck.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
My favourite one, however, unfortunately did not come from me. It came from Lizzie, but I was there, and I'm so happy I was there for this moment. It was I'm doing a Dara O'Brien. It was marvellous. It's one of my favourite stories that I tell everybody.
Yeah.
We were in a school.
Okay.
One of the things that we were told we were going to have to do on this trip is we'd go to a school and teach an English lesson in a primary school.
Right.
So the three of us, me, Lizzie, and our other classmate,
Oh dear.
we're in this class. We're teaching English. It
Yeah.
actually goes really well. And then at the end of the class, we're told to ask the kids if they have any questions for us.
Yeah.
And you know, we ask them in English because the whole point is they're learning English
Yeah, yeah.
and speaking
Yeah.
English. And they ask us what our names are, or at least how to spell them.
Yeah.
So we're doing it and we're writing our names on the board as we spell them. And
Yeah.
obviously we're doing it in the English language so that they can learn. So like for me it's A-N-D
Yeah.
R-E-W.
Yeah.
We only did first names to start with, then Lizzie did hers and our other classmate did hers. And then he asked what our last names were, so we added those as well and, you know, just did the spellings. Pretty standard stuff.
Yeah.
And then, I think it was our classmate said, oh, what's your last name?
Yeah.
And so he told us, but you've got to remember, it's in primary school, these kids
Yeah.
probably aren't even 10 yet.
Yeah.
Like maybe 8 or 9 years old. Whilst they knew the basic fundamentals of how to speak English and
Yeah.
could say odd sentences, they hadn't fully grasped everything yet.
Yeah.
So as he was saying his name, he was accidentally flitting between the English and the French pronunciations for the letters.
Oh, that's sweet.
So he starts doing it,
Yeah.
and I won't say the exact word,
Yeah.
because obviously I don't want to
Yeah.
accidentally potentially dox a French kid who would actually be like, you know, a
Adult
teenager
bad,
by now,
yeah.
young adult. But anyway, so we do the first 4 letters and then the 5th letter. Now, what we think he was trying to say in actual fact was R.
Right. Okay.
But the way it came out, it sounded like an N. Because
Okay.
he mixed the pronunciations up.
Right.
So we put an N on this word, and suddenly all the kids start wetting themselves, like inconsolably laughing.
Right.
And we're stood at the front of this classroom going, why are they laughing?
Yeah.
What have we done?
Yeah.
I'm so confused.
Yeah.
What's going on? And again, our lovely teacher is at the back, laughing to herself with her head in her hands going, oh, for fuck's sake, not again. We leave the classroom, we go to the minibus that we were
Yeah.
driving around over this whole trip.
Yeah.
And as we sit in, we're about to set off, and I go to the teacher, hey, miss, insert name here.
Yeah.
Do you mind telling us what Lizzie wrote on the board? Because I
Yeah.
want to know why those kids were laughing.
Yeah.
Turns out she'd written cunt.
Oh.
She'd written the French word for cunt on the board. And we have no idea. So these kids are pissing themselves.
Do you remember when those stupid English students come to our classroom and they spelled cunt on the board? Oh.
Yeah, she literally put the French word for cunt on the board.
Wow.
Now, luckily,
That's wonderful.
from what our teacher said, in France, the word cunt is about as bad as the word bugger is over here.
Right.
So it's not like a severe swear word like it would be over
Yeah.
here or in
Which
America.
also explains why little kids would know the
Yeah,
word.
which also explains why little kids
I
would
wouldn't,
know
I
it.
wouldn't have expected well, depending on where you are in the country,
But
I suppose, I wouldn't expect a young kid here to know that until,
Yeah.
but maybe
I will
in
say
the
she didn't
teens.
just outright say you wrote cunt on the board. What
Yeah.
she said was, you wrote a very vulgar word for a private part of the female anatomy on the board.
My
So yeah, I think one can draw to the conclusion
Yes.
that we accidentally wrote cunt on this board in this primary
Vagina!
school.
Vagina.
Yeah,
With a
I
French
love that. It's
accent.
so funny. I laugh every time I think of that.
Vagina.
It's
That is
so
actually
funny.
great. That is great. I love the way that language works.
Anyway, Phil, you had a game for us.
think maybe we can skip it.
Yeah, you can do it on the next one. Can't
Yeah.
We? Yeah.
Okay.
Because it might take
Do
at
you
least
want to do
15
your topic
minutes.
then?
Mine might take a little bit longer, to be fair.
Okay. Do you want to just do? Do you want to just do the news story then?
Oh shoot, that's what I was meant to be looking for. I'm sorry, I got from that most reliable source of journalistic integrity,
Metro.
the Metro.
Yay!
Yay!
Metro!
And we're in Wales.
Wheels. Lovely.
Blank that took over Welsh town are now shopping at Primark.
Gypsies.
I don't know if I can say
Travellers. Gingers.
that.
In Wales?
Chavs without a
I was
home.
gonna say chavs.
Is that more derogatory though?
No.
Because isn't that a gypsy word, chav?
No,
Is it not?
no. It's just a scumbag word.
I've only ever known it as a word for like,
It initially
you know,
started as chava.
Did it?
Or at least up in the northeast it did, and then it became
What?
chav.
Chav.
To help maybe narrow it down, it is recent. This was from the 4th of March this year.
Reread the story?
Blank that took over Welsh town are now shopping at Primark.
Sheep.
Ooh.
Sheep in Primark.
You know, I'm gonna, unless you've got any suggestions.
Okay, so it's an animal of some kind.
Ducks. Goose.
Goats.
Yes! I was gonna give it a Sarah, but yes, you are right.
What?
They've been spotted queuing up outside the barbers and invading hotels, but these famous mountain goats are clearly in need of some retail therapy, reads the story. Will Roberts came across at least 15 of the curious goats outside Primark in Llandudno on Wednesday.
Do you want me to read that so I can say how to pronounce it?
Llandudno. It's Llandudno.
Yeah, Llandudno.
Unfortunately for them, the government's closure of non-essential shops during lockdown means they'll have to wait several weeks before they reopen.
Can you imagine when it opened up, the goats just like barged in, ran for the train, like the changing rooms, trying on different frocks.
Yes. You are kidding, right?
Ugh.
You expected it. You expected it.
I did, and for that reason, I thought you
I'm
weren't.
out.
I'm Jenny Campbell.
I'm Jenny Campbell and I'm out.
Yeah, no,
Wow.
I'm not even gonna read the rest of the fucking story. Fuck that.
Well, apparently that's gonna be it for this week's episode of the We Pay For Your Floor podcast. I have been Andy.
I've been Phil.
And I've been Sarah.
And until the next episode, we will see you later.
I'm gonna go home and go to bed and try and be as quiet a neighbour as my upstairs neighbour is.
Oh.
So
So not
quiet.
very.
We look forward to your nocturnal occurrences.
Stampenings.
Stampenings. I will try and be better.
You better.
Oh, I forgot we have to do that.
Because
yeah.
we
You
pay
better.
for your.
No, we can do it. We can do it. We can do it. Right? You better,
Because we pay for your floor.